Sarah says, hey guys, I'm struggling to figure out what influencers are the best fit for my business. There are so many. Any tips on narrowing it down?
Absolutely.
Start, Dan.
Yeah, Sarah, how big of a business do you have? What niche are you in? There's a lot of other questions I'd want to ask you, Sarah, but since you're not here, I'll just make them up, right? If you're, I guess you're probably a small business if you're starting with influencers, and small businesses should start with small influencers. There's no point in my opinion, if I had a business, throw in 10 grand, 20 grand as a small business at a mid-tier influencer to do 1 or 2 posts. Because really what you're doing there is you're putting all your eggs in one basket. So start with some UGC creators, get a good idea about how to work with content creators on social, and then slowly work your way up to nano influencers, micro influencers, and mid-tier influencers. You're going to learn a lot along the way. You're not going to spend a lot of budget of your hard-earned budget on things that aren't going to deliver results. And when you do eventually get to that mid-tier level, they're going to deliver for you amazingly, and your brand will have grown tremendously by then.
But what if there's no brand awareness whatsoever
With the influencer, I mean?
With the business.
Oh, with the business.
Okay,
yeah.
Nobody knows about me at all. Won't small influencers just yield small rewards?
Sure, they will. Absolutely. That's why you got to leverage.
I want big rewards. How do I get big rewards? What if I was able to have what if I had the budget? What if I was very small and I had the budget for a much larger influencer? Somebody that had influence and we know could drive actual sales.
Yeah, if you got the budget, that's awesome. The best case scenario would be to work with those mid-tier influencers and not just think about them as in a vacuum. Integrate those mid-tier influencers into your holistic marketing strategy. And what I mean by that is doing things like retargeting the influencer's audience, right? So you have your mid-tier influencer post and promote your products. What is that going to do? It's going to drive a bunch of traffic to your website. Well, then you get leverage your Facebook ads, your TikTok ads, YouTube, etc. Retarget that traffic that the influencer drove. Now you're going to get multiple touch points with that audience. You're going to raise brand awareness. You're going to get them through the consideration phase of the funnel and make it more likely that your influencer content converts into actual real revenue. So the trick to when you do, mid-tier is the key. They have the highest level of influence, but always you want to integrate it into all the digital marketing that you're doing and not just think about it like, oh, I'm going to pay an influencer and that influencer is going to post to their audience and my audience is going to get a bunch of sales. That was the 2015 strategy. It doesn't work like that anymore. Going now into 2025, you have to integrate your influencers into your holistic strategy.
So Sarah asked how you would narrow it down. So is that so what would you do? Would you just go on Instagram and just sort of make a spreadsheet of people you want to reach out to? Is it worth paying for a tool? How would she actually narrow it down? So though,
good question.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's a big one to unpack, Sarah, but we actually just made a YouTube video about it. We should link that in the notes so you can go watch that as well. It's all about how to source influencers, because that's essentially what you're asking, Sarah, is how to find influencers. And there's so many different ways to do it, which is awesome, but also a little overwhelming at the same time. You can start with just using the social platforms themselves, meaning you can just pull up your Instagram and use some hashtags. Let's say you're a health and wellness business. Let's say you're, I just talked to a cannabis brand this morning, and you could search hashtag CBD, hashtags, healthy CBD or CBD drops. And you can look at who is engaging on those hashtags. A lot of times the top posts on a hashtag are coming from influencers. So you look at those influencers and then you can just reach out to them directly on the platform. Send them a DM. Sometimes they don't respond to DMs because they're busy. So reply to a comment on one of their posts and just make a nice little message that says hey, John, saw your post about CBD. Looks like you could be a really good fit for our brand. Okay, can you reach out to me? If John thinks you're, a good fit, he's going to reach out, and now you have a start of a partnership. So there's using the platforms themselves. That's the scrappy way to do it. There also is a bunch of free influencer search tools out there. So you can just Google influencer search tools and you'll come up with a lot of free ones. The drawback to the free ones are that they're not that comprehensive and they usually don't come with contact information. They usually are gated, meaning they have a paywall. They want you to sign up. There's also some very expensive SaaS tools that agencies like GetHyped use. I wouldn't recommend that for starting out because those are like thousands of dollars a month to subscribe to those. But then you also have the option of working with an agency to do it for you and find influencers for you as well. So I'd recommend, do your own research on the social platforms to start. And then as you get a better feel for it, kind of go up to that next level, because either using a paid SaaS tool or working with an agency like GetHyped.